Alright guys, thought I'd make a brief video here to talk about this little guy here. This is the 9 Eagles Alien I received from myrsmart.com. I have tested it already, so I'm not going to show an unboxing, but I'll show you what was in the box. Basically, transmitter. This is the JFM transmitter. It looks a lot like the J4 for those of you who own them, but they're not the same. I'm not sure if the J4 will fly this little guy here, but I do know that the JFM transmitter has got different functions that are specific to quadcopters, so you're going to get more programmability with this transmitter in terms of setting the rates and whatnot on this quad. Other than that, it came with a manual, spare set of propeller, little Phillips screwdriver, USB charger, and 250 mAh 30C LiPo, 3.7 volts. That's what's in the box. I'll tell you a little bit about the quad here, and then I'll show you a bit of flying with it. First thing, of course, is it's super tiny. It's very light. That's the first thing I've noticed. It's lighter than other models this size I've tried for sure. This thing is super light, so the result is flight time is very long with this. You're looking at probably over 8 minutes of flying with this, maybe even a bit more indoor with the stock battery. So if you were to go with use slightly bigger batteries like in the 300 mAh, 350 mAh, you get very long flight time with this. And they're 30C batteries, the stock batteries, so they provide good performance. Other thing I've noticed is just out of the box is those nice little rubber bumpers on the end of the motors here, which is quite nice. Keeps the motors in good shape if you have hard landings on on hard surfaces. I am noticing as well, which is you see right now I've just put the color propellers on the back because I'm used to having the orange at the rear, but when this comes out of the box, the orange at the front. And I've noticed something a bit odd about this model is this is motor number 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the rotation is inverted compared to other quads I've seen this size, whereas number 1 is counterclockwise, number 2 is clockwise, number 3 is counterclockwise, and number 4 is clockwise. So usually it's the opposite. It would be clockwise, counterclockwise, clockwise, counterclockwise. But it's reversed, although it makes absolutely no difference for flying. It's just a 9 Eagles is doing their own thing, I guess, doing things a little bit differently. Now about the radio, let me put the camera on my head here so I can show you something. I'm going to go ahead and connect the battery here. Put the battery in there. Turn on the radio. And then plug the little guy in. I think that's the way to bind it. I'm not sure. Yep, that's it. It automatically binds. Now this is what's cool about this radio. First, you've got dual rates right here. Right, just by pushing this button, you half rate or full rate. So this gives you, different flight aggressivity in flight. But that's, all of those little models from 9 Eagles have this function. But what this transmitter has that others do not have it as adjustable rates, which is quite nice. And let me show you how this works. This is in mode 2 right now, and this is my cyclic stick for elevator and aileron. I need to push down on it, right? Push down on it, and then move the throttle stick up, and the propeller will just spin just really briefly, and then from there you see numbers on the LCD, and you can adjust your rates. So don't go and put 0 on there, because it's not gonna. You'll have 0 control, right? As soon as you increase the rate, then basically you get more and more and more control. And if you go all the way up to 85, and then you let go of the stick, reduce back, and that's it. Now at 85 it's acro mode, meaning it's going to pull flips and rolls on you. What I've noticed is that really you don't need to go far below 85 where it won't flip. So if you were to try 80, for example, to make the flips a little slower, it's not going to work. So you need you need 85. And if you go all the way up to 100, it's going to be difficult to control it because it's going to flip insanely fast. Like the rate is crazy. You can pull quadruple flips like on a dime, but trying to recover from that is very difficult given that it's small. And the visibility might not be all that great when it's spinning at Mach speed on you. So I find 85 is actually a good setup for acro mode on this for doing flips. Now that said, once you're in acro mode, you can still go half rate and full rate, which is very nice. Now I'm going to reduce that. I don't want to try acro mode indoors, so I'm going to go say about 50. 50 is going to be quite fast already. Right. Now, a couple more things before I show you flight demo. Let me get this back in my hands. I've noticed something when I tested this. This is something very nice. What a lot of these quadcopters have, these small, tiny little guys like this, is they have what's called auto flip, where you either have to push a button, or you have to do some kind of special stick movement to generate a flip or a roll, but it's automatic. It's not a controlled flip. It just flips, goes back to level position, usually oscillates a fair bit, and then stabilizes itself. Whereas this one is it's actually the same as a hobby grade quad, where the flips are fully controlled. They're what we would call manual flips. And this is a very, very nice thing to have on a quadcopter for beginners who are learning. Because if you go from auto flip on a quadcopter, which is way too easy, to basically trying to do complete full flips with an hobby grade quad, you're going to find that there's a whole learning curve going from auto flip to manual flip. Whereas if you learn to do flips with this model, once you move up to a hobby grade quad, it's going to be the exact same thing. It's because this is moving, it's reacting for acrobatics the exact same as a hobby grade quad. Moreover, a lot of these small models, when it comes to elevator and aileron, which is basically forward, backward, left and right like this, they won't allow you to mix aileron and elevator. So what that means is it's difficult to do nice bank turns with them, because you can go forward, and then once you decide to turn, right, basically you can use the rudder, and you could use aileron at the same time. You could use rudder and elevator at the same time, but you cannot use aileron and elevator at the same time to create those really nice bank turns. Whereas this one, again, is just like a hobby grade quad. Any stick movement, whether it's rudder, aileron, or elevator, they all mix. So it feels like flying a hobby grade quad. Basically, you can do the same maneuvers, you can do nice pirouettes with it, flips and rolls, and of course you can do those really nice scale flying where you can do those bank turns, right? And it's flying very well. So I'm going to go ahead now, just adjust my camera, headband. I'll go ahead and show you a quick indoor flight, and then maybe I'll take that outside after and show you a bit of outdoor flying as well. Okay, let's have a look. Of course, first thing I've noticed when I got that out of the box, plugged the battery in. Well, I charged it first, but after I charged the battery and plugged that in, I noticed the stability of this is quite nice. The board, the controller does a really good job at keeping it nice and steady. And even outdoor, I tried it outdoor, it was quite windy. I was getting no oscillation with it, and I was getting very stable flight. You might have to trim it a little bit. See, I just gave it one click of right trim here, and this is it now. This is hands-free. Check it out, hands-free. Very easy to fly, obviously. This is with 50 in rate, so it is not acrobatic at the moment. Now, there's not much light down here. I want to show you a brief indoor flight demo here, and then we'll take that outside where we've got good light. Alright, there's a car coming. Let me take it that way. Alright, just a little bit more flying here. You can see this thing is super fast. Hard to see though in the distance. With no light, of course, they're small. Makes for a very good fun little flyer for flying inside as well. And the dogs are about to start barking now. Check out how stable it is. Incredibly stable. Like, this is more stable than some of the more expensive models I have tried, which I don't really want to start comparing brands here, but you land this. Perfect landing, exactly where I wanted it. Okay, the dogs are barking now. I'm going to stop this and I'll show you some flying outdoor in a minute here. Stay tuned.